Hey guys, what's going on? Jam here. And first of all, before we get started, if you like this type of content or if you've seen any of my other videos, please make sure to hit subscribe down below. Drop a like as well. If you have any questions or any suggestions for future videos, make sure to drop that in the comment section as well. Now, with that being said, let's get started. So for today's video, what we're going to talk about is my top 5 tips on how to optimize your audio. If you don't already know, Twitch or any other streaming platform is based on really multiple things, right? You have to have your quality on the video, you have the content on the video, which is going to be you, and the audio. And if you notice as well, there's a lot of people who will just put game streams on the background, and so they're like they can do their homework, they can do work, and then just listen to someone stream. And that's really what we're capitalizing on here, because not all the time will people be staring at their screen watching your visuals. If you sound like crap, no one's gonna stay on because it's gonna hurt their ears, it's gonna be annoying, it's gonna be very loud or not too loud, and they'll just leave your stream. So this is one way to keep them engaged and to make sure that people who are in your stream watching are pretty much comfortable listening to your stuff. Okay, so with that being said, let's get started. The first thing that we're going to talk about here is actually using a noise gate. And a noise gate is actually a feature that you can turn on OBS itself, whether it be in OBS or on your mixer slash interface. Most people who will be running the basic interfaces won't have this feature, so you'll have to add this on through OBS. And how this is done by going to clicking the settings icon on your OBS audio settings. You hit filters, and then you go ahead and hit the plus sign there, and you hit noise gate. And when you do that, you can select an open threshold, a closed threshold, attack time, hold time, and release. So just kind of real quickly, what this all means is the open threshold is at what dB level your microphone would open up, meaning any background noise in your room would be essentially muted unless you start talking, because especially if your microphone is close to your face, it will start recording only if you go past that threshold of your decibel level. Now, this all depends on what your room is and how your setup is, but essentially that's kind of the premise. The noise gate is there to turn off the mic entirely if you're not actually talking. If you're talking, then it'll open. So it's up to you. You'll have to make sure to kind of tweak those values. The attack time, the hold time, and the release time, those are merely just times of how fast or how quick or how slow it'll react. The attack time will be how fast the noise gate will open when audio is heard through the mic. Hold time is how long the mic's gonna stay open while you are using it. So if, for instance, you're talking and you go silent for 200 milliseconds, it'll stay open for your next word before, so it still catches it. It doesn't mute you and then open it up again. Release time is how fast it'll close up. And the next thing is how you would set up your gain. That's really a common problem in most streamers, especially the newer streamers. You always have a listen of your VOD. So once you're done your stream, you go back and listen to it again. See how loud everything is and kind of make tweaks that way. Most people don't have the ability to monitor their audio. Monitor meaning listening to the audio as you're talking. So for example, most interfaces have a feature like that. My mixer has that too. So this microphone goes back into my ear and I can hear it. So not everybody can do that, but what you could do to augment that is just to start watching your VODs after you stream, and then you just kind of like, okay, it's too loud, then you turn it down. It's too little, turn it up. And one way to visually see this is actually on OBS directly. OBS and Streamlabs both have this feature, is to open up your mixer, your audio mixer in Streamlabs, and you'll see a little meter that goes up and down when you're talking. It's gonna have like the green, the red, and the yellow colors on it with a bunch of numbers. So what I typically do, and this might be up for some debate, but what I typically do is keep myself in the yellow. And then anything that goes into the red will actually get clipped, and you'll hear it, and it's very, very bad. So again, making sure that your audio is loud enough, and all the audio sources are mixed in a way where it's not very irritating. Because if you think about it, if you're playing a game where your game audio is too loud, the game music is really loud, and you have music playing from Spotify or something, and then there's your voice. You got to make sure all of that kind of mixes in properly. Otherwise, all that audio will just go to your viewers' ears and annoy the crap out of them. So you just have to make sure that everything is kind of mixed in that way, in a particular way that you want it to be. So let's say you want your voice to be overpowering everything. You want, or you want your game audio, right? So typically what I do is I turn down game music all the way down, because first of all, you don't know if those are DMCA free, number one, and number two is that tends to kind of mess with the stream, especially if you're playing your own music in your ear, right? So that could be a problem as well. So just making sure everything is mixed in the right way and the volumes are correct. So that's pretty much the gist of item number 2. It's just to make sure that you're not bombarding your viewer with so much noise or too little noise where they have to crank it and then they switch to a different streamer and then they blow their ears out. So that's really what I'm trying to get at. For the third item, very similar to the second piece, which is the gain control. The third piece is actually ducking. And what ducking does is actually when you talk on your mic, it would duck down the other volumes in your stream. So for instance, you have one audio source for your game, you have audio source for music, you have audio source for mic, and whatever other sources you have. And if all those are playing at the same time and you start talking, no one's gonna hear you. So what you're gonna have to do here is you go to your OBS and then you go into the audio source that you want to turn down. So it's gonna be a filter as well, and it's actually gonna be a compressor, and you name it whatever you want. Once you have your compressor created, you now have to tweak the settings there. This is going to be very difficult to start at first, but I can show you how I did mine. Here's mine on screen, and if you want to copy that and start kind of changing it up your way depending on how loud your game audio is versus your music versus your mic, you can for sure tweak this. The biggest thing here to recommend is always going to be the attack time. Drop that as low as you really can. That way, when you start talking, when that happens, it's gonna duck down the music fast, right? So that's the biggest thing. And the other piece here is you gotta make sure that your sidechain, your ducking source, would be your microphone. That way, when microphone gets a certain peak of volume, it ducks everything else. And that's really the reason why you want to do this, because again, going back to the second point, you don't want to bombard your viewers with extra audio where they don't even have to hear it. Which then leads me to number 4, which is separate audio devices. If you can, separate all your audio devices on OBS, whether it be using virtual audio devices like Voicemeeter or actually using different audio devices like the SteelSeries Arctis 7 has 2 different audio devices, one for chat and one for game. So something along those lines. That way you can clearly mix everything properly on your mixer. Right, so that way it's just, again, going back, the main point of this video really is to not bombard your users with obnoxious audio. So this way you can mix it properly and you can hear it in your VODs. Because if you hear it in your VODs and you get annoyed because the game audio is too loud and you can't hear yourself, or vice versa, then there's your problem. Finally, I think the most important one as well is if you have a mic like this or some sort of USB or like a condenser or a dynamic mic. And again, I'm not talking about the ones that come with your headphones. I'm talking about separate microphones that you want to use for your stream. Make sure you are using it correctly. And by that I meant having the microphone close enough to your face the way it's supposed to be. So some microphones are addressed from the top, such as this one. This guy has the capsule right up here and it's pointed right at my face. So I need to be talking right into it. That way I get the best quality, and if it's close enough, I don't have to crank the gain too hard. There's going to be less noise on your track. The other piece is the polar pattern of your microphone. So some microphones would have some sort of pattern where it's capable of recording the best. And that's something that you have to look at the manual or the spec sheet of your microphone. Essentially, what you have to do there is to just talk into the part of the microphone that it's most sensitive on. So for instance, this one really is more sensitive right here. So I would have to talk right on top, because the moment I go to the side and to the back, you can't hear me as well. All right. The moment I go over here, it weakens the audio. So that's really trying to demonstrate. And the final point here is to, if you can, put it off your table. Take it away from your main desk where you're playing. Mine is on an arm on the desk. Even better is if it's away from this desk, like it's actually not attached to this desk. I would, if I can, mount it on the wall and have it come down. And the reason why for this is if you're in a game or if you're working and you accidentally hit your desk, all that audio is going to travel all the way through and hit your mic. That's going to be annoying for you. That's going to be annoying for your viewers, and no one's going to be happy, right? Again, these are the first 5 that I have for tips. There will be more in the future. I'm still going to make more going about this, but essentially, in summary, right? You just want to make sure your viewer and yourself, if you're watching the VOD, is happy enough to listen to the stream. Never mind the video. Like I said, some people watch Twitch streams or YouTube streams or Facebook streams without even looking at the streamer. What they do is they usually just keep the stream in the background and listen while they do work or something like that. And that's the reason why this video is important, because you don't want to have your viewers come in 30 seconds after leave because they blew your eardrums out, or jump in, crank the volume because you're too quiet, and then jump back to a different streamer and then blow their ears out. Without that being said, obviously, if you have any questions about this, feel free to drop a question down below in the comment section, or come find me on Twitch. I'm usually streaming at 8 p.m. Pacific on Mondays to Thursdays, and feel free to drop your question there. We're always open to help. If you have questions, I'm always going to try to help you on as much as I can. If not, point you to the directions that you could get help from. But yeah, that being said, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe button and the like. And with that, have yourself a great day. Take care and stay safe. Bye-bye.